Jeremy Sockman here with a look at what some consider the best movie of all time. Do I? Well, don't get ahead of yourself. I still haven't told you what it is yet. It's Citizen Kane, starring the world's foremost wine enthusiast Orson Welles, and this one's had more said about it than most. So let me add my 2 cents, and you can decide if you'd like those coins jingling in your pocket when you're waiting in line at the laundromat. So let's take a look. Citizen Kane stars Orson Welles as Charles Foster Kane. See what he did there? The man's name is Kane and he's a citizen. Pretty subtle there, Ors. Seems like old Charlie Kane went and dropped dead, breaking a fancy snow globe and saying the word rosebud. Now some newspaper men want to know why, so they set out to interview anyone that knew the man for some stories. Seems old Kane had a real humdinger of a life, starting out poor and inheriting a lot of cash from a mine, then turning that into a newspaper empire and art collecting fetish. Next thing you know, he's married and running for office, but uh-oh, that doesn't go well when he starts hanging out with a singer.
You really like me, though, even though you don't know who I am.
Oh, I surely do. You've been wonderful. Well, gee, without you, I don't know what I'd have done. I had a toothache, and no, I don't know many people.
I know too many people. I guess we're both lonely.
Then he's disgraced, and she's doing puzzles next to his walk-in fireplace. Well, that's not enough for her. After her attempt at an opera career went nowhere, and she walks out. He smashes up her room and turns recluse. Then we get the stock market crash, and he's forced to give up most of his riches just to stay in monkey and giraffe-filled castles. Finally, spoiler alert, the newspaper men never do learn that Rosebud was the name of his favorite sled as a kid, and the thing gets turned into firewood to heat the cavernous old barn.
If you could have found out what that rosebud meant, I bet that would have explained everything.
No, I don't think so. No. Mr. Kane was a man who got everything he wanted and then lost it. Maybe Rosebud was something he couldn't get or something he lost. Anyway, it wouldn't have explained anything. I don't think any word can explain a man's life. No, I guess Rosebud is just a piece in a jigsaw puzzle. A missing piece.
Now golly gee, this might all sound like a movie with a lot to say, and maybe it does, but it's also filled with so many continuity errors that you can never be sure just what in the hell it's trying to say in the first place. Take Kane's second wife, Susan. We're told that she was a terrible singer and really stunk up the various opera houses the big man had built for her. Well, if that's the case, then just how did she manage to get that singing job at the nightclub? She even had top billing on a giant sign on the roof. Would they really advertise her if she was that bad? What's going on here?
Hello, Mr. Ralston. She won't talk. The second Mrs. Kane, about Rosebud or anything else.
Then we get to the breakfast scene between Kane and his first wife. This is one of those, how did it make it off the cutting room floor sequences I just can't understand. Practically every time the camera cuts, they're wearing different clothes, have different hairstyles, even different facial hair. And they even look older. Didn't someone notice this stuff when they were shooting? I get that this scene was probably shot on different days, but come on. Wasn't someone in charge of quality control?
People will think
What I tell them to think.
And don't get me started on all the flashy cinematography. This movie is filled with more show-off shots than a dozen Tarantinos. Shadows, smoky rooms, the endless mirror trick. Yeesh. Sometimes less is more when you're telling a story, Orson. You may want to look that up. If you have to gussy up what you're shooting with so many tricks and crazy angles, then maybe the story you're telling isn't as great as you thought.
It's a good shot, Thompson, but what it needs is an angle. Yeah. All we saw on that screen was that Charles Foster Kane is dead.
And then, after sitting through this 2-hour mess, we're not even given the courtesy of a happy ending. The answer that everyone wanted was right there all along, but no one gets to see it, and it all goes up in a puff of smoke. Yikes. That's sure casting aspersions on the permanence of a life's work, and the meaninglessness of human existence. Now excuse me while I go and cry in the dark for a while.
Get out of here. Get out!
So in the end, while some people might say Citizen Kane is the greatest movie of all time, most of those people and all the cast of this movie are dead. So take it from a sock that's still 6 feet above ground and stay away from this pretentious and poorly written disaster. There's a reason the big man never made anything for this studio again, and it's all right there for the watching. I'm Jeremy Sockman, and I'm giving Orson Welles' big-time vanity project Citizen Kane a hard pass.
Kane is very close to farce and very close to parody, very close to burlesque. And that's why I tried every sort of thing, from sentimental tricks to an attempt at genuine humanity.
Ah, the French champagne.
There is a man, a certain man, and for the poor you may be sure that he'll do all he can. Who is this one?
Who is this one?
with wealth and